Hello, I'm Sam Meredith and welcome to the weekly wrap-up. Joining me to discuss the market movers this week is Adam Button, Director at ForexLive. So, Adam, for the sixth consecutive week, US unemployment held below 300,000, which is significant given the weakness of the first quarter. However, with a 12,000 rise in unemployment from the previous data release, how is this likely to impact on the country's monetary policy?
The Fed and the market, I'll stick with just the Fed. The Fed wants to see better economic data. I mean, the Fed is betting heavily that the first quarter slowdown is 99% an effect of cold weather. But it's into March or through March and into the middle of April, and data is generally weak. Jobless claims are an exception, but it's not necessarily the best indicator of what's happening in the economy. So that's really the lone bright spot in the picture right now, and it's just not been enough to prop up the U.S. dollar.
Sticking with the US, the dollar initially weakened early this week, following data that showed retail sales came in less than expected. Returning to its annual inflation target of 2%, suffering yet another setback. But how do you expect the US dollar to react in the short term?
The dollar has been mired and undercut by a series of weak data points. Retail sales was the major one that kicked it off this week. Remember, non-farm payrolls before that, and the market was able to bounce back on non-farm payrolls, but the poor data has been mounting, and it pulled down the dollar substantially. Now, April's generally the weakest month of the year for the dollar, so it might continue for another week or two, but it will certainly continue until there are 2 or 3 better U.S. data points in a row. On Friday, inflation numbers, core inflation was a bit better than expected, and that's given the dollar a bit of a lift. But in general, the dollar really needs some good news here, because the idea that the first quarter was a weather-induced slowdown is beginning to lose traction.
Lastly for today, what is it in particular that traders can look out for next week? Are there any potential surprises in store for us to keep our eyes on?
Yeah, it's a great market right now for real-time data traders, and as we see, every single data point is driving these half-cent, even full-cent moves, even when they're just slightly out of line. So, data that may not normally spark that kind of reaction is doing it, and it's a sign of a healthy market, a market that's searching for answers. So I think every single data point right now is critical. So the key is to circle every little thing on the calendar and keep on top of the news.
Thank you, Adam. For more updates and to see how the markets are shaping up next week, join me again for the week ahead on Monday. Goodbye for now.